Let's start with the topic information and communication technology. Nowadays, as you can see, the technology or the innovation of our technology is rapidly increasing. And this technology helps us to provide the access information through telecommunication, deals with the use of different communication, mobile phones, telephone, internet to locate, to save, send, and edit information. They said, in the Philippines is the ICT hub of Asia. Huge growth of ICT related jobs around the country, one of which is call center or BPO, business process outsourcing. Let's define ICT, the information, communication, and technology. Information refers to the knowledge obtained from reading, investigation, and study or research. Communication is an act of transmitting messages. The most commonly used before are email, short for electronic mail. But there are also SMS chat, IRC chat, video chat, VoIP phones or the voice over internet protocol, phones, social networks, discussion forums, and news groups. Technology is the use of scientific knowledge, experience, and resources to create processes, products that fulfill human needs. Technology is the vital in communication. ICT is the synergy of technological advancement for information and communication over the internet or wireless medium. Mobile devices can communicate through wireless fidelity, the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, third generation 3G and 4G, data services and dial-up services, and virtual private networks. Cellular network, radio networks, using distributed cell towers that enable mobile devices, which is our cell phones, to switch frequencies automatically and communicate without interruption across large geographic areas. So this cellular network that you have right now that can give you a signal from the tower. So yun yung nagbibigay sa atin ng signal na, sa ating mga mobile devices. Wireless fidelity, Wi-Fi. Radio waves that connect devices to the internet through localized routers called hotspot. Yung Wi-Fi naman natin, yan yung ginagamit natin with the use of routers. So, meron tayong modem na source natin ng ating internet, and then with the use of routers, nagkakaroon tayo ng hotspot. Nagkakaroon tayo ng hotspot para magkaroon tayo ng connection sa isang device. Data services, 3G, 4G, 5G. Cellular service uses packet switching technology, which organize data into parts or packets for transmission and reassembles the information at the destination. So, this kind of services from our cellular, nagkakaroon naman tayo dito ng packet switching kung saan magkakaroon tayo ng data na tinatransmit natin. Bluetooth uses packet-based transmission over short-range radio signals. Emerging technologies. So we have different kinds of example of emerging technologies. And number one is the artificial intelligence or the AI. This AI is the simulation of human intelligence processed by machines, especially computer system. So here are some video that you can watch for more information about the AI.
Siri, Alexa, Cortana, and Google Assistant. These are all forms of AI or artificial intelligence, but AI extends far past voice-activated assistants. AI is the simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems, and almost all businesses today employ some type of AI, some more complicated than others. AI can be categorized as weak or strong. Weak AI is a system designed and trained for a particular task, like voice-activated assistants. It can maybe answer your question or obey a programmed command, but can't work without human interaction. Strong AI is an AI system with generalized human cognitive abilities, meaning it can solve tasks and find solutions without human intervention. A self-driving car is an example of strong AI that uses a combination of computer vision, image recognition, and deep learning to pilot a vehicle while staying in a given lane and avoiding unexpected obstacles, like pedestrians. AI has made its way into a variety of industries that benefit both businesses and consumers, like healthcare, education, finance, law, and manufacturing. In fact, many technologies incorporate AI, including automation, machine learning, machine vision, natural language processing, and robotics. The application of AI raises legal, ethical, and security concerns. For instance, if an autonomous vehicle is involved in an accident, liability is unclear. And hackers are using sophisticated machine learning tools to gain access to sensitive systems. Despite the risks, there's very few regulations governing the use of AI tools, but experts assure that AI will simply improve products and services and won't replace us humans anytime soon.
Robotics, the branch of technology that deals with the design, construction, operation, and application of robots. The third one is the biometrics, are a way to measure a person's physical characteristic to verify their identity. This can include physiological traits such as fingerprints and eyes, or behavioral characteristics such as the unique way you'd complete a security authentication puzzle.
Biometric screening is a way of using an individual's specific physical or biological characteristics to verify identity. Its purpose is to tighten security, protecting personal documents such as passports or contracts, and making actions like withdrawing money or entering private premises safer and easier. The oldest and most widely used form is digital fingerprinting. Unique and permanent, except when a person suffers severe burns, the patterns making up our fingerprints are identifiable thanks to regions known as deltas, forks, and ridge endings. Each print contains up to 90 of these points, but using just a dozen or so should be enough to identify one identical twin from another. Eye scans work in a similar way. Thanks to the distinct structure of each individual iris, reliable identification is possible. The technique, however, is costly. A less expensive option, using a palm morphology reader. The only problem, the form of a person's hand changes over time. This technique can be useful, however, for quick identification purposes even in dusty or dirty conditions, and that's why it's often used on construction sites and at harbours. Finger or hand vein recognition is another way of checking identity, as infrared light shows the patterns unique to each individual. Already present at birth, they remain with us until we die. Finally, there's the good old-fashioned signing on the dotted line of contracts and papers. Pressure points, pace, and pattern all make up the specific identity of our signature.
The fourth one, quantum cryptography, also called quantum encryption, applies principles of quantum mechanics to encrypt messages in a way that it is never read by anyone outside of the intended recipient.
It's called quantum cryptography, and what makes it so powerful is that instead of math, it relies on the laws of physics. One law in particular, the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It says that you can't know absolutely everything about the state of a quantum particle. It's not because you're not smart enough or your equipment isn't good enough. It's just because nature keeps some things hidden. Take this scenario. You want to send Bob a private message. You encrypt the message using a key made up of ones and zeros. You send the key to Bob by a secure line, this could be email or wire, and then mail the message to Bob. Remember, it doesn't matter if anyone else reads the message, they won't be able to understand it. What's important is that no one sees the key. But an eavesdropper, Eve, has tapped into the secure line. Once she has the key, she can read the message and your secret will be publicly known. This would never happen if you'd used quantum cryptography.
The fifth one, computer-assisted translation. It involves the use of software programs to translate both verbal and written text, also known as machine-assisted or machine-aided translation.
Tools? CAT tools like Trados or Transit are programs that help to store and manage translations. Now, they do not translate. They don't do your work for you. But CAT tools do make your work faster, better, and more profitable. How can they do that? First, CAT tools let you translate many different file formats without having to use their source applications. So just imagine you receive an Adobe InDesign, XML, PDF or HTML, Adobe FrameMaker document, or any of the Microsoft Office application files like Word, Excel, or PowerPoint. You really don't have to buy applications from Adobe or Microsoft or any of the HTML editors. One CAT tool lets you translate documents in almost all known file formats. Only one program to purchase and to master. Second, CAT tools store and manage your translations. What does that mean? Well, if you translate a sentence, you won't ever have to do it again. Your CAT tool will do it for you in all your future projects. So every time you come across a previously translated text passage, it'll be translated using your previous translation automatically, without having to consume your time and efforts once again. And it'll do it very fast and without mistakes. Yes, it does sound like a dream, but it's true. Third, CAT tools help you to keep your translations more accurate. They point out things like mistranslated or omitted numbers and dates, forgotten translations. They help to keep your work correct and consistent. They even indicate any formatting mistakes you may have. So with their help, you'll use terminology from your client properly.
6. 3D imaging and holography. It is defined as the 3D projection that exists freely in space and invisible to everyone without the need for 3D glasses.
We may be closer than ever to recreating some of the most iconic tech in sci-fi history.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
We've seen hologram technology move leaps and bounds over the last few years. Maybe you caught Jesse's look at 3D volumetric displays a few weeks ago. Now, researchers from the Interact Lab at the University of Sussex have created three-dimensional holograms you can hear and even feel. They call their device the acoustic trap display. Essentially, it's using sound to manipulate a tiny particle that traces out these images. Here's how it works. The display is made up of an array of small ultrasound speakers that produce sound waves, LED lighting, and a 2mm bead. The sound waves keep the bead suspended in midair, and they can manipulate the bead's position. The bead moves around the display too fast for our eyes to see, so what we see is a 3D image. And remember, this is genuinely a three-dimensional image. It doesn't just appear to have depth. That means it can be viewed from any angle. Now, believe it or not, this tech is actually inspired by old school TVs. You may not be old enough to remember CRT televisions, but they created images with a single color beam that scanned across the screen so quickly, our brains registered them as a single image. Another point worth noting, Nature reporter Lizzie Gibney saw this acoustic display up close. She said the images don't flicker in real life like they do on video. But here's where it gets really cool. The speakers can also make the beat vibrate to produce different sound waves, which means these images can freaking talk.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Now, I can't be the only one who immediately started thinking about Princess Leia sending a distress call to Obi-Wan when I saw that. If that doesn't blow your mind, we're not done yet. The ultrasound waves can also generate tactile feedback, meaning you could essentially feel the flutter of the butterfly's wings. And it's true, we're still a long way off from the holodecks we all know and love in the Star Trek universe, but there's no other volumetric display that can produce touch the way this one can. And the researchers behind it say the ability to manipulate matter without actually touching it opens up a ton of other opportunities. For example, you could mix chemicals without the risk of human contamination, or even manipulate human tissue to better deliver life-saving drugs. Scientists say a future version of this device could include multiple beads, making for a more detailed image. And this version was built using fairly inexpensive components that really any of us could buy. So don't be surprised if this appears on someone's holiday wish list in a year or two.
The last one, virtual reality, refers to the computer-generated simulation in which a person can interact within an artificial 3D environment using special electronic devices that can be similar to or completely different from the real world.
Come on in. So we're going to show you some virtual reality today. It's really hard to show people what it's like to be in virtual reality without having them try it for themselves. Filming you in the green screen studio is just the best way we found to help everyone else understand what it's like to be in VR. Any questions?
Can I go first?
All right, go crazy.
Hey! Aw, you're so cute! Oh, hi there, look good! Oh! Hey, have a stick now, come here! You want the stick? Yeah, I took it! Oh, he actually gets it! Come on! Oh, you're so cute!
It makes you feel like you're pulling the string back.
Left, check left.
Oh, yeah, nice shot!
No way! Oh my goodness, these guys are so cool.
Look behind you, Kyra. Order up.
Baking? Oh no.
How quickly you found it? How human?
It's burned!
Eat those donuts, Travis. Get them. Get those donuts.
Don't stand in the way of his mom. A little bit more toward us. There you go. There.
No, the other way, the other way. The wheels are a little off kilter.
Hold on. I'm gonna get really hungry down here. Little bit of a torque issue.
Yeah, there you go. Right into the black hole.
What? Can we go into space? No, I can't. The grid's here.
The grid wall here has to stop you from walking into the couch, walking into the walls.
Oh, this is so